Congressman Tony Simon is honored for saving a woman's life.
The Mamaroneck School Board invites the public in for tea.
For the Yes Network, the answer is still no from Cablevision.
Pollution problems still plague Harbor Island beach goers.
And Mayor Bialo appoints someone to his vacated trustee seat and goes public with his wish list for Larchmont. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the fourth week of April 2002. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. Brendan Ward, a 32-year-old Mamaroneck Town police officer, was injured on April 3rd when his cruiser slammed into a tree along Old White Plains Road. The injured officer was transported to a local hospital following the accident. By week's end, he was listed in stable condition at Jacoby Medical Center in the Bronx, having suffered 3 broken ribs, a broken clavicle, and a broken finger. We send our best wishes for a speedy recovery, Officer Ward.
Recent rains haven't done very much to ease the severe drought conditions that we've been facing for many months now. Last week's heat wave led to an increase in the consumption of water. The water supply in the reservoir system that feeds our area is at a very low level for this time of the year. Reservoir levels are at 63% of capacity, and they should be at 96%. The current consumption of water is about 1.1 billion gallons per day, and without any additional precipitation, the current water supply would be exhausted in some 260 days. However, a drought emergency has been declared and will be enforced. Under a drought emergency, people are not allowed to wash vehicles, driveways, and sidewalks. The watering of lawns is restricted to alternate days. Ornamental fountains need to be turned off. Commercial car washes have to use well water or water from trucks. Also, golf courses have to implement their own water conservation plans and obviously are limited in their use of water. Currently, we are at the first level, or state 1 of a drought emergency. Should the drought conditions continue, we might have to move to stage 2. Under stage 2, the watering of lawns is banned, and also private swimming pools may not be filled. At this time, however, people are asked to strictly obey the stage 1 drought emergency rules and save water whenever they can. To save water, officials also recommend that we all use dishwashers only when they're full, take shorter showers or shallow baths, fix leaky plumbing, do not run the water when shaving or brushing teeth. And for additional information on saving water, you can go to www.westchestergov.com.
Well, as many of you are aware, the water at Harbor Island Park has been plagued by pollution. So far, no conclusive report has been produced indicating where the pollution is coming from. Samples have been taken at $25 apiece, and a couple of hundred samples already taken. The cost is in the thousands. Dolph Rotfeld, the village's consulting engineer for about 11 years, does not see a clear solution to the problem after more than a year of testing. However, a village resident, environmental consultant John Leitner of Glen Cove-based Ambient Group, volunteered to analyze water samples and record the results at no cost to taxpayers. Leitner just wants to help the village find the solution to a problem that has plagued the harbor for nearly 2 years. Mayor Cifolletti said in the Journal News that the Public Works Department will sample 20 locations along the village's 3 rivers and streams about 3 times a week. And then Leitner will analyze the tests. Cifolletti also said that he hopes the board will vote to add funding for repairing 132 sites of inflow and infiltration in the village's sewer system and hire a village engineer. In addition, a need for a citizens committee still exists. There is no clear answer on whether the harbor will be cleaned up in time for summer, but we can all hope.
Since May of 2001, the village of Larchmont and the Larchmont Police Department have not been able to agree on a new contract. It's the goal of the police department to receive a new contract that would put them at pretty much the same level as their colleagues in the town and village of Mamaroneck. After talks broke down and mediation was not able to resolve the issue, the dispute is now in the hands of an arbitrator. The arbitrator will review the case and then make a decision that will be binding and final for the police department and the village of Larchmont.
New Larchmont Mayor Ken Bialo led his first village board meeting about 2 weeks ago with a positive mood and a clear agenda. New village board members took oaths symbolically marking the commencement of new terms for the mayor and trustees Liz Feld, Marlene Colbert, and Mike Weiner, who is filling Mr. Bialo's unexpired term. Mayor Bialo announced several high-priority items the village will be addressing, which included office hours at Village Hall for informal conversations between residents and board members. The first meeting time was set for 11 to 1 on Saturday, April 13th, and a second was scheduled for the same time on Saturday, April 20th in the Village Hall conference room. Increased traffic safety around Chatsworth Avenue School, weekend litter, improvements to Pinebrook Park's ball field, streetscape improvement plans, open space issues, communications with the FAA regarding air traffic noise, further development at Flint Park, website services, zoning code revisions, and regional water quality also topped a list of items to be addressed by the board. After years as a minority trustee member, Bialo heads the predominantly Republican board with a positive attitude and outlook. Our best wishes for a successful year.
Westchester Democrats last week backed New York State Comptroller H. Carl McCall by a slight margin and endorsed Latimer as their candidate for governor. The endorsement of Latimer came against the wishes of party chairman David Alpert and county executive Andrew Spano. While McCall won unanimous support for running for governor for the Democratic Party, the support for Latimer was obviously split. However, the fact that Latimer won the majority is important for him as he moves his low-budget campaign upstate to try to secure the New York State Democratic Party's endorsement for lieutenant governor.
Well, it all started with a cup of tea. Here to talk about what idea was hatched over that cup of tea is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
An attempt to discover what the Larchmont Mamaroneck residents expect from their school system, the board will hold 3 sessions of approximately 25 people in order to listen to the public. Notices have gone out for residents who wish to sign up for any of these sessions. The sessions will be held as follows: April 30th at 9:15 a.m. at the Weaver Street Firehouse Auditorium. May 16th, 9:15 a.m. at the Post Road Conference Center. And on that same date, May 16th, 7:30 p.m. in the meeting room at the Larchmont Library. Each session will be led by a professional facilitator. Participants will be divided into small groups in order to discuss various topics, such as school goals and diversity. The groups will then reconvene and share their thoughts with others. Superintendent King and board trustees will attend. For reservations, please call Joan Rosen, 698-9000, extension 212. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
There's still no deal in sight between Yes Network and Cablevision, the local cable company. Yes Network is a new sports network. 60% of Yes is owned by Yankee Nets, the parent of the Yankees. Cablevision does not want to put Yes on because it thinks that Yes wants too much money. As a result, more than 340,000 cable subscribers in Rockland, Putnam, and Westchester counties cannot watch the Yankees games carried on Yes Network. Cable companies have to pay for the sports networks that they feature on their cable system, and those costs usually run between 80 cents to $2.90 per subscriber per month. Yes Network wants to charge about $22 per year for cable subscribers, and Cablevision does not find this acceptable. Not being shown on Cablevision is a problem for Yes. First, Yes loses a significant portion of the subscriber fees that it expected from the market, and secondly, 3 million subscribers of Cablevision will not be able to watch the commercials that advertisers have paid for on the Yes Network. Yes is asking for about $2 per subscriber from Cablevision. This would add up to about $72 million per year that Yes would be receiving from Cablevision.
So I guess the risk with Cablevision not taking on Yes is that some residents may choose to get satellite TV and then miss out on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News if they choose to do that.
Yeah, some people, I guess they've done that, and it's just not clear whether and when the dispute will be resolved. Cablevision apparently wants to carry the Yes network as a premium channel, but Yes is not interested in that because it would limit the overall viewership.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll have to wait and see. And the skies overhead might be getting quieter. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
The Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, may have a new way to keep the planes quieter over the Sound Shore community. A recent meeting was held between FAA officials and elected officials from Larchmont and the town of Mamaroneck, Representative Nita Lowy, and 4 members of the organization now known as Westchester Residents Acting to Improve Neighborhoods, or RAIN, to discuss the problem of noise created by planes flying at low altitudes over our community. The manager of the FAA's Eastern Airspace Branch, Mike Sammartino, told of a new vertical flight guidance system that, if installed at LaGuardia Airport, could allow pilots to more easily keep their flights at higher altitudes over Long Island Sound while descending before landing. And that could mean less noise on the ground. The new system would cost about $500,000, but it remains to be seen whether it will be adopted and whether it really will make a difference. Representative Lowy, while pleased with the idea, said she would wait to ask Congress for the funds until noise level data, due later this spring, show the effectiveness of the new system. At the meeting, RAIN officials expressed concern that the Sound Shore community was shouldering a disproportionate burden, claiming that while our residents make up only 7% of the volume of LaGuardia passengers, 52% of the LaGuardia arrivals go over our heads. RAIN also urged the Department of Transportation to limit the number of flights into LaGuardia and instead send more flights to Kennedy Airport, which the Port Authority's own data show is underutilized. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
New York State will spend $1 million to dredge and clean the Sheldrake Lake and River in Mamaroneck and New Rochelle. The Sheldrake Lake is also known as the Larchmont Reservoir off Weaver Street across from Bonnie Briar Golf Club. Westchester County has pledged another $600,000, and Larchmont and Mamaroneck Village and the town are putting in another $400,000. As part of the work, 20,000 cubic yards of sediment will be removed from the Sheldrake Lake. Along the river, the banks will be stabilized and a strong drain system will be installed. Mamaroneck Town Councilwoman Phyllis Whitner was quoted in the Journal News saying, "It's very important for flood control and to improve water quality in the river and Long Island Sound."
Well, hats off to a local hero, Tony Simon. Here with his story is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
A hero in our town, Mamaroneck postal worker Tony Simon did exactly what he sensed was the right thing to do. While on his route Tuesday, February 26th, Mr. Simon, being very conscientious and attentive to his daily routine, noticed unpicked up mail at the home of Jean Colicchio. Worried at the obvious sight of an overstuffed mailbox, Mr. Simon immediately stepped up to do the right thing, called the police, and in moments helped rescue Mrs. Colicchio, who was found collapsed and unable to phone for help after suffering a stroke. In appreciation, the neighbors along Raleigh Road in Mamaroneck awarded Mr. Simon with a memorial plaque made by John Quadrine, commander of the Village Rescue Squad. Nurses in the United Hospital in Portchester say Mrs. Colicchio is recovering and in stable condition. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Well, newly elected Mayor Ken Bialo had one more year to fill in his trustee seat. Now that he's been elected mayor, Mayor Bialo has the right by law to appoint someone to fill his empty trustee seat. Here to talk about who will fill that seat for the next year is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
The final Larchmont Village trustee spot went to Mike Weiner. Weiner, as you may recall, was defeated in the recent trustee elections by Democrat Marlene Colbert. But the election and elevation of former trustee Kenneth Bialo to mayor left a trustee spot open, with 1 year remaining on the term. As mayor, Bialo was entitled to appoint his successor, and he chose Weiner to fill his old spot. In his run for trustee, Weiner campaigned to create an emergency response center, and to work on enhancing the village's outdated technology. Weiner's appointment also means the makeup of the Larchmont Village Board shifts to a 4-to-1 Republican majority. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Hi, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And I'm Glenna Gray.
And we're here on behalf of all the volunteers for the Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. Glenna, I know it's been 12 years that this news show has been broadcast.
No, I think it's almost 14.
Almost 14?
Almost 14.
I myself, I've been here about 3 years now, and I'm happy to have met you, worked with you, and everybody that's been involved at the news show here. But one person in particular, our executive producer, Jeff Montanaro.
Right.
We love him. He's been terrific. He's made this show what we know it to be.
Absolutely.
And now Jeff is going to be stepping down to be doing other things in his life.
Wonderful other things.
Wonderful.
To pass on his talent and skills to a next generation.
But I would really like him to pass on his talent and skills, and the reason that I'm speaking to our audience tonight is if there is someone out there who has seen our show and understands the video and technical element of putting a news show together, we would love you to come forward and be a volunteer so we can keep this show going. And as always, that we say at the end of our show, if you, what is it, how we do, what we do, for shooting video, writing copy, working on cameras, working in the edit room, please call us at 698-6808, and we're hoping that we hear from some of you, and our producer, our executive producer, Jeff Montanaro, will be helping us train and find a new person to keep this show going on.
Yes, we have provided a wonderful service to our community, and it would be a shame for this wonderful service to be lost, because many people look forward to the news of what's going on in our little community, but you're not going to find in the New York Times. Therefore, we need to know, because it's very important. There are many, many services and things and wonderful people here, and we would love to continue our show. However, we do need someone who has the skills and knowledge that has been developed on this show by Jeff Montanaro, who is going on to another adventure in his life. Yes.
The next chapter in Jeff's life.
And we would love to have you, because we do volunteer in this community.
And we love this community. So it would be like the Larchmont Times or the Larchmont Evening News.
Yes.
And I've loved doing this. I enjoy this very much. I like doing it. I like the people I've met, all the local politicians, and I find out things as a result of being here.
Right,
that make it easier and more worthwhile for being a member of this community.
Yeah, and volunteerism is almost uniquely American. Many countries don't have this. And we have this, and we want to preserve volunteerism. And this is your opportunity to come and share your skills with us.
So please call us at 698-6808 or come by the studio, hopefully for as many Thursday nights as we're still here. 7 o'clock, the cameras are rolling, and come and see how we do, what we do, and come and do it with us too.
Well, I think production, at the part of production, we should also say means also directing.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, very much. I mean,
it's directing. That's the key. That's the wonderful key that Jeff has been doing.
In front of the camera, behind the camera, at the edit board. I'm trying to get as much technical information out as I can. So please contact us. We're looking for a few more volunteers to keep this show going.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week. It's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Have a great week. Oh, no flip. Has all the rainfall helped our drought situation?
A new de-icing project begins at the Westchester County Airport.
Is there finally going to be a new firehouse in the village of Mamaroneck?
A new report on the sale of homes in our area has just come out.
And we have some helpful advice for those high school students taking the Regents exam this spring. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the first week of May 2002. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. Mamaroneck Village is still trying to decide where to build its firehouse. The Village Fire Department and a committee of local residents are recommending building on Palmer Avenue by expanding the already existing Mamaroneck Firehouse, which was built in 1913. The structure would need to be broken down so a new 3 to 4 bay firehouse could be constructed. The new firehouse would replace the old hook and ladder firehouse on Mamaroneck Avenue, which is over 100 years old. The old firehouse could even be sold to raise money for constructing the new one. The cost is expected to be between $3.5 and $6.5 million, depending on its location. Other sites are still being considered at this time. A report analyzing 5 potential sites was produced by architects from Herbert S. Newman and Partners PC of New Haven, Connecticut. The other site options include Village Hall, a parking lot at Columbus Park across from the train station, a mixed-use lot on Van Rance Place between Sheldrake Place and Jefferson Avenue, and just north of the Volunteer Firehouse on Mamaroneck Avenue. The report detailed the pros and cons of each site and was released in February to the Fire Department and Firehouse Committee, which includes residents and firefighters. An opportunity for public comment has already been scheduled at Village Hall on 169 Mount Pleasant Avenue. We'll keep you posted on any decisions.
A preliminary school budget is out for Rhinebeck, and if adopted, school spending will go up 6.4%. In Rye Town, that would mean a tax increase rate also of 6.4% after factoring in a decrease due to equalization assessments. In Rye City, the rate would go up 11.9%, and that includes a more than 3% increase in the equalization assessment. Equalization assessment is based on a rate set by New York State each year to ensure taxpayers in different communities pay comparable taxes on similar properties. The biggest increase in the budget spending is staff salaries, over $500,000 in salary increases and nearly $350,000 in new hire salaries. Employee benefits also would go up more than $300,000. Rhinebeck residents will vote on the budget on May 21st.
Well, sales and prices of homes in our area continue to climb. The median price of a single-family house in Westchester County is currently at almost $470,000. up 14% in the first quarter in 2002 compared to numbers a year earlier, according to the Westchester Putnam Multiple Listing Service. Median prices for condos and co-op apartments also rose by double digits. The median is the sales price that is halfway between the most expensive and the least expensive house sold. Many suspect that sales deals that were postponed by this fall's terrorist attacks rolled over into the first quarter of 2002. Inventory was up with 2,392 homes for sale in Westchester at the end of the first quarter. But just because sales are high doesn't mean there are enough homes. Many homes sell in just 24 hours. With buyer demand so high, industry officials are skeptical that prices will come down soon.
With all the rain we've had over the last couple of weeks, you'd expect that maybe the drought would be officially over. Here with an update in the news is Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Alyssha Schachtel.
It seems our neighbors to the north are beginning to see tougher water restrictions. Portchester, Rye, and Rybrook have reached phase 2 in their water supply emergency. The New York American Water Company of Portchester wants residents to cut water use by 20%. Residents are now prohibited from washing cars, boats, streets, and driveways, and swimming pools may not be refilled. Stay tuned, Mamaroneck and Larchmont. We may be next. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Alyssha Schachtel, hoping for rain.
Before school's out for summer, high school students must face those Regents exams. But have no fear, help is out there, both low-tech and high-tech. For the traditional and time-tested, there are the study guides. Barron's has 2 versions. Regents and Answers provides actual prior exams and answers, and the Let's Review series reviews topics, provides practice exercises, and 2 actual exams. Princeton Review's Cracking the Regents series gives text-taking strategies and actual exams, and Kaplan's Regents Review series does the same, plus some topic review. For those more wired, there's the internet. The New York State Regents site, nysregents.com, gives general test info at this website, and it's a mouthful, so we'll try to get it up on the screen for you. www.emsc.nyseg/testing/NTS/HTML. You can get actual exams from 1998 through January 2002. Older exams dating between 1957 and 1997 can be accessed at www.nysl.nysed.gov regentsexams.htm. For those who really don't want to crack a book, there are review classes on the internet and on TV, and you can email questions. www.regentsreviewlive.net will give you all the info on how and when to view sessions on our PBS stations, WNET Channel 13 and WLIW Channel 21, or even live on the internet. The reviews run through the month of May, which should give you plenty of time for the June exams. And speaking of which, here's the Regents exam schedule. On June 18th in the morning, there's Comprehensive English and Physical Setting Earth Science. In the afternoon, Global History and Geography and Physical Setting Physics. On June 19th in the morning, you got Comprehensive English Session 2 and Living Environment, and the afternoon brings Competency Tests in Writing, Sequential Math Course 2, and Mathematics A. On June 20th, the morning session gives you competency tests in global studies and Regents in history and government. Later that day, competency tests in reading, sequential math course 3, and mathematics B. On June 21 in the morning, competency tests in science and comprehensive Regents exams in French, German, Hebrew, Italian, Latin, and Spanish. In the afternoon, competency tests in U.S. history and government and physical setting chemistry. And finally, on June 24th, competency tests in math, intro to occupations, and proficiency exams in the foreign languages. Hope that helps, and good luck.
And the Mamaroneck School Board has approved a budget. For the details, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Alyssha Schachtel.
Residents of the Mamaroneck school system are facing a 6.39% increase in their school taxes. The Mamaroneck school budget for the 2002-2003 school year would be $75.6 million. That means a home assessed at $20,000 will see an increase of about $500 on top of your current tax bill. The budget has been open to the public, and there has even been sessions broadcast on LMC-TV Channel 72. The Mamaroneck Board of Education approved the budget back on April 16th, and on May 21st, you, the voters, will have the final say on the Mamaroneck School's $75.6 million budget when you vote at the polls. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
A new de-icing facility is in the works for Westchester County Airport. Plans are in development for a $23.5 million facility. Camp Dresser and McGee, an engineering firm, was hired for $750,000 to prepare designs and necessary environmental studies before construction can begin. One of the main functions of this facility will be, in addition to de-icing the airplanes that currently use the airport, to prevent water contamination of our local water supply. An earlier study found that de-icing fluid was polluting the Blind Brook, which empties into the Long Island Sound. The new facility would recapture all fluid and divert it from the Blind Brook. The county hopes to begin building the facility next year.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They will try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from the landmark Walters hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. See you next week. That was there. A new report claims unemployment is at an 8-year high.
I'll have an updated report on the drought situation in our area.
Larchmont train station to be upgraded to a more modern facility.
Some Rye City taxpayers are questioning their taxes when it comes to Rhinebeck schools.
And we have some Central School children who share what they learned about a very interesting field trip. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello. Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the second week of May 2002. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. Mamaroneck's consulting engineer, Dolph Rotfeld, resigned last month, citing a lack of approval from a trustee who criticized his handling of the village's pollution problems. Rotfeld had worked on engineering projects for the village for 10 years. Trustee Kathleen Savolt criticized Rotfeld for not producing a substantial report about his hunt for sources of pollution in the Times. Savolt felt it was time for a second opinion and a plan. Village records show that approximately $60,000 was paid to Rotfeld's engineering company. Although Savolt's goal was not to have Mr. Rotfeld resign, but the focus now is to move forward. Village Public Works employees are already taking water samples in 20 locations throughout the village. The samples will be analyzed for free by volunteer resident John Leitner. Mayor Trifoletti's advisory committee on water quality recently met too. They will assist the village by doing research and looking for grant money. A full-time engineer has been put in the 2002-2003 budget for Mamaroneck Village, so work on the pollution matter will continue. In the interim, Keith Fury of New City-based KW Fury Engineering, PC, will serve as the village engineer until a permanent engineer is hired.
The rain may be pouring down these days, but it is still not enough to fill the reservoirs. Reservoir levels continue to be much too low for this time of the year. Last week, they were recorded at 71% of capacity and should be at 100% at this time of year. And that puts us in stage 1 of a drought emergency with voluntary water usage restrictions. But we could move to stage 2 very soon. Our water system is part of the New York City water system, and New York City's Mayor Michael Bloomberg has said that unless the reservoirs receive 15 more inches of rain over the next couple of weeks, he'd have to move to level 2 of drought emergency water usage restrictions. Government officials want the public to conserve more water, and not just during periods of drought. Officials want the public to realize that water is a scarce resource and should be conserved year-round and during periods when there's an abundance of water.
Well, commuters at Larchmont Station will be happy to know that proposed designs for a $5.5 million renovation took place between Metro North, Larchmont Village, and Mamaroneck Town recently. The project is scheduled to begin this fall. If approved, work will wrap up by the fall of 2004. The work is part of the MTA's 5-year capital plan for 2002 to 2005. Once the final design is complete, the project will go out to bid. Plans for Larchmont Station include a new station house with a ticket office, a restroom, and a heated waiting area. There should also be some space for retail, such as a concession stand. A new heated overpass will connect the Manhattan and New Haven-bound tracks, and an elevator will allow easy access for wheelchair users and parents with strollers to the parking level, platform, and overpass. The plan includes lead and asbestos abatement, too. The MTA is also in search of artists to create a 2-dimensional mosaic mural. The Larchmont Station services about 3,500 passengers every day, and it is the 7th busiest station in Metro North's system. When it's all done, there will be a new look and decor. We'll keep you updated on future plans.
Some students at Central School went on an interesting field trip recently. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel has an interview.
The privilege of sitting here with 3 gentlemen from the 5th grade of the Central School, and they have just concluded a 6-week course called Constitution Works. Constitution Works teaches the 5th grade about how our government is run, how our legal system is handled, and they were actually given a specific case that they chose sides for. I am sitting here with Jake Fixell, David Weiss, and Dylan Lustrin. Now, I know all 3 of you played parts in a court case. Can you tell me a little bit about the case that you did?
Well, our case was about how the Denver Dispatch was printing articles about biological warfare research in Boulder, Colorado, that the government was researching.
And what stance did you take? And you were an attorney for the government?
Yeah. Yes.
And Dylan, you were an attorney for the Denver Dispatch, right?
Yeah.
And what position did you take?
Well, I was saying that we should have the right to print our articles on the biological warfare research because of the First Amendment that gives us the freedom of speech and the freedom of press.
And Jake Fixell, you were an attorney also for the side of the Denver Dispatch. When you approached the justice, what did you say?
Well, what I said was, well, if the Denver Dispatch got that information that was top secret so easily, then an enemy could just get it as easily as they did.
And so the reason that this this case came up is as a result of, do you want the information to get out or don't you? Now, David, the side of the government, they did not want it to get out. Can you tell us a little bit more about the information that you put out?
They put out. Well, we didn't want it to be printed because it would give it would cause the people of the United States to be in danger, and I think national security goes above the First Amendment.
And Dylan, rather, when on your side you were saying that there are other rights that had to be looked at. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, what I was pretty much saying was that in the Constitution, it says that we have the right to print what we want and say what we want, and the Constitution is the highest law of the land.
Now, the justices did make a decision. And Jake, can you tell us what decision they came to?
Well, the decision was that the Denver Dispatch won their right to print.
Well, having had this experience, Dylan, did you find that you thought about a career in law?
Well, I thought about it, but I don't think I really want to become a lawyer.
And why is that?
Well, I just don't think it's the job that I would like to take, but it was a good experience trying it out.
And David, having gone through this experience, do you think?
I'm not exactly sure if I want to be a lawyer, but it's definitely a possibility for me because I like to defend people. Well, I like to defend people and give them their rights.
And Jake, how about you? What did this experience leave you with?
Well, I felt I really did really good with my argument. I felt I was very strong and made my point, but I don't think I'd really want to be a lawyer.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this with us. And if there's any more exciting events that take place at Central School, will you come by and share them with us?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
The Village of Mamaroneck unanimously approved a budget for fiscal year 2002-03, and the tax increase is a much improved 7.7%, down from the originally proposed 9.9% tax increase. The total budget is $21.25 million, and the tax rate for the new budget is $202.83 per $1,000 of assessed value. Among the items that allowed the village board to slash the budget proposal are a reduction in the payment due the village's health insurance carrier from $100,000 to $50,000. Also, 2 of the highest paid police officers retired recently, and they'll be replaced by officers who will be paid an entrance-level salary. In addition, the resignation of village consulting engineer Dolph Rotfeld will allow the village to hire a village engineer rather than continuing to outsource the many ongoing construction projects in the village. The new budget goes into effect on June 1st of this year.
Well, some Rye City taxpayers are questioning their tax bill when it comes to Rye-Neck schools. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
Who pays for Rye-Neck schools? Well, some Rye City residents believe they're paying more than their fair share and are taking the matter to court. The Rye-Neck School District is comprised of residents of a portion of Mamaroneck Village, which is part of the town of Rye, and residents of the District 1 in Rye City, New York State's Office of Real Property Assessment, has required District 1 to increase its percentage of Rye-Neck school funding in step with the rising home values in Rye City. Rye City Councilman Franklin Chu argues that Rye City funds 32% of the total tax levy, while only accounting for 15% of the total student enrollment. In the lawsuit, Rye City complains that because the Mamaroneck portion of Rye-Neck is in the town of Rye, which includes the village of Portchester, where home values are lower than in the rest of Rye Town, it skews the tax formula. So Rye City is seeking a special segment equalization rate to mandate that only homes in the Rye Neck School District can be used to determine how to divide the school tax bill. A similar request by Rye City was made after the 99-2000 school year, but it found it difficult to proceed at that late point in the year. So this year, a request was made earlier. The request may be granted if the State Board finds that using a town-wide equalization rate forces Rye City residents to pay more than their fair share of the Rye Neck school taxes. The request will be formally presented to the Office of Real Property Assessment at the June 11th board meeting and determined at the August board meeting. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
The United States Labor Department in Washington has just released the new unemployment figures. For more, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The Labor Department's latest figures on the unemployment rate has jumped to 6%, which makes it the highest unemployment rate in 8 years. The prediction from the Labor Department is that jobs will continue to be difficult to find in the near future. Economist Mark Zendi believes the recovery will be a painful process. Companies whose profits took a blow during the slump are concerned about the strength and staying power of the economy. Therefore, they are reluctant to quickly rehire workers, crank up spending, or to make vast commitments. Payrolls grew by 43,000 jobs in April. However, this is not strong enough to take care of 565,000 people who entered the workforce during the month. Many economists believe that the Federal Reserve will leave interest rates at the 40-year low level. The jobless rate is predicted to peak at 6.5% by June. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Don't you just hate those telemarketers? You know, those people who try to sell you stuff while you're eating dinner. This next story from Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel might just make you feel better.
Good news for those of us bothered by telemarketer phone calls. The New York State Consumer Protection Board is looking to toughen the restrictions against those callers. First, the Consumer Protection Board plans to up the cost of the required do not call lists. Telemarketers must have updated copies of that do not call list, so they do not call the consumers who have made clear they do not want to be called at home for telephone solicitations. Updated lists are available every 3 months, and the $500 annual fee is expected to go up to $800 to help defray the costs of the program, which is free to consumers. The Consumer Protection Board also plans to prohibit the resale or distribution by solicitors of the do not call lists to unrelated companies. The public has 45 days to comment on these proposed regulations before adoption by the board. The board also proposes to increase the fine for violations from $2,000 per improper call to $5,000, a change which it hopes to include in the state budget for fiscal year 2002 and 2003. But not everyone favors the proposed changes. The Business Council, New York's most powerful corporate lobbying group, is against all of them. It also is concerned that the proposals would extend enforcement provisions to wrongdoing by companies who contract for telemarketers, but have no control over the solicitors. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They will try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from the landmark Walters hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. We'll see you next week. Fantastic. There's a changing of the guard at the Westchester County Airport.
Larchmont has big plans to create more open space.
Parking permits are going on sale in the village of Mamaroneck.
I have a report on the finances of Westchester County.
And we will take one more look at the Mamaroneck school budget for 2002-2003. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the 4th week of May 2002. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. Residents in our area will get out and vote on Tuesday, May 21st for the Mamaroneck school budget. With just minor adjustments made to the proposed $75.6 million budget, taxpayers will be looking at a 6.4% tax increase. As of the taping of this program, we do not have results of the budget vote, but if passed, property owners will pay $450.30 per $1,000 of assessed property value. This equals about $9,006 for someone who is assessed at $20,000. Residents who qualify for the STAR program will pay $407.05 per $1,000 of assessed property value. The tax rate hike is lower than most Westchester school districts. The budget includes funds for 6 new teachers, preparations for state regents exams, textbooks, and monetary insurance for the Center for Continuing Education. The budget will also allow for improving the school district's technology by incorporating more computer use in the classroom. The increase factors in a multi-year plan to repay $49.7 million worth of bonds taken out last year as well. The average taxpayer will pay about $542 more than last year if the budget is passed. Polls are located at Chatsworth, Central, Mamaroneck, and Murray Avenue schools and will be open on Tuesday, May 21st from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Voters will approve or disapprove the budget as well as elect April Farber and Amy LaVere, 2 uncontested members to the Board of Education.
According to Westchester County Executive Andrew Spano, in a review of the financial situation in the county, it is not the county spending that is out of control, but New York State's spending. The county executive stressed that every dollar raised by county property taxes and 1/4 of all money raised from the county sales tax goes to state-mandated programs beyond the county's control. Spano said, "We must find a way to pay for our police, our parks, our health programs, and our programs that continue to ensure that everyone can partake in our quality of life. Because of the economic recession, the events of September 11th, and uncontrolled state programs, we're facing a $70 million deficit in the county budget next year. We didn't create this problem, but we're going to solve it." Spano calls for the state to act and rein in programs which keep growing by millions and millions. He gave some examples of mandates beyond the county's fiscal control. New York State requires counties to pay 50% of the state's Medicaid bill. These programs now cost Westchester taxpayers more than $170 million, or 48.6 cents of every county property tax dollar collected. The state has mandated special education programs for children with disabilities, and these cost Westchester taxpayers $42 million, up 78% over the last 4 years, or 12 cents of every county property tax dollar collected. Other state programs like the PINS program for dealing with juvenile delinquents and the fact that the county must keep state parole violators in Westchester jails cost county taxpayers another $4.4 million, or almost another 2 cents of every county property tax dollar collected.
Well, Larchmont has named 5 residents to a newly formed ad hoc committee on the issue of open space. The committee is made up of residents Tom Stewart, Judy Santamaria, Philip Comerford, and Nick Newman. Their goal is to meet regularly to seek out areas that could be preserved as open space, assess the feasibility of acquiring land, and determine what financial implications purchasing it would have on the village. However, ultimately, any decisions about open space would have to be made by the village board.
Democrat Nita Lowey, who represents the 18th Congressional District in Washington, may soon see a shift in her district's borders. Currently, her district includes parts of the Bronx and Queens, in addition to a large section of Westchester County. Under a redistricting proposal, Lowey would gain additional sections of northern Westchester County and portions of Rockland and Putnam counties. This proposal is not the only one, and some believe that the process will not be completed in time for the next election. Alyssha?
Well, Chef Johnson will be hosting the 13th annual LMC-TV Awards Night Extravaganza. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schechtel spoke with Chef Johnson about what he's cooking up for this year's show.
Chef Johnson, you've been all over LMC. How many shows do you have running?
Well, Amy Schechtel, I have my one principal show. I have appeared on a couple of other episodes of various programs. But my television show, which is called Up in Johnson's Kitchen, runs on Wednesday nights on LMC-TV, and as well as Friday and Saturday and Sunday nights as well at 9 p.m.
How long has your show been running?
We're going on, well, it must be getting close to about 2 years, I would say.
2 years. And how many shows do you think you've done?
Boy, that's a tough one, because, you know, we do so many shows, but what happens is sometimes the cooking gets so hot that some things just ain't exactly suitable for public television. So we have quite a number of episodes that have been done that do feature quite a few I would say risque type of things, which didn't intend to be that way, but you know, sometimes you cook in. Things get hot, things get greasy, and there ain't no telling what's going to happen.
Hey, we'd like to have a private screening of those one day.
Well,
what do you
think? Know, one day we're going to work on that. We're still, from what I understand, there's certain negotiations going on with Cablevision to make all this kind of thing more acceptable, I guess. But being that we are still looking to not only educate but also entertain. The entire members of the family, we do have certain restrictions. Perhaps we're going to go for a late night edition where maybe we can...
Well, you have educated, you've definitely entertained, and you've brought some terrific shows to the LMC network. And I understand that now, after all the time spent doing your own show, you've been asked to host another show. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
I would. Thank you very much. I'm very happy about this. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be a wonderful TV show. It's going to be a wonderful live event. And what we're doing here is the LMC-TV, the Larchmont...
13th annual.
It is the 13th annual. Yes. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I have lost track. Somewhere around 10, I suppose.
Sometimes when you're having a good time, that's easy.
It happens sometimes because, you know, it's hard to count. I got 10 fingers, and after that, I get a little confused.
What? Some people do use their toes, but a chef wouldn't do that.
Well, a chef, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because we're very much into cooking we're all about cooking for fun and cooking a lot of good, tasty stuff, but it is important to be sanitary. And I want all the young aspiring chefs out there to keep that in mind, that sometimes you may be tempted when you're cooking and you might say you're trying to figure out a certain number of ingredients and you may lose track because you run out of fingers. Please, resist the temptation to use your toes, because what ends up happening is it makes it an unpleasant experience for you. I don't have to go into that.
Thank you so much for passing that piece of information along to our up-and-coming chefs. Let's get back to the 13th annual award show for LMC, which will be at the Emlyn Theater, and it will be on Wednesday. And let's see.
It's Wednesday. That's May 22nd.
May 22nd.
If I have not run out of fingers, and I got that correct. And this will be at 7:30 p.m. Sharp. The admission is free. We have a wonderful, wonderful musical.
What's cooking?
That's right. Good looking. You hear what I'm saying?
Thank you.
The musical guests we're going to have, well, there will be several musical guests, but the main band that we will have is It'll Get Better, which is a fine musical outfit.
We love that.
You must have seen them on LMC over the years. They do a fantastic job, and they always put on a good show. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And what this program is all about is it's an award show where the LMC staff and the entire community involved presents awards to various people that have worked on shows, that have produced their own shows, that have volunteered for various programs, all around, who have contributed in one form or another to the mission of LMC, which is to produce fine television for the community.
Well, your two key words there are volunteers who have contributed their time and doing something they enjoy doing. And that's why we're here. That's what we like to do. So now's a chance for us to just sit back and celebrate and be entertained. But are you going to be cooking?
Well, you know, that was brought up. Could I be cooking? I would absolutely love to do a little cooking, maybe just kind of spread the aroma, if you will, out through the auditorium, through the community.
Through Mamaroneck.
Exactly, but being that we do have time constraints, we're gonna have to save that for another time. But I do look forward to doing some cooking programs and demonstrations, if that may be. This particular show, I might add, is free to the public. We do encourage everybody in the community and even in other communities, if you know somebody that ain't in this community and you might want to invite them just to come out for the night, it's going to be a fun time. And basically, we're going to have a good time, and we would like everybody to come on out and check it out. It's going to be at the Emlyn Theater, Wednesday, May 22nd, 7:30 p.m. And it is free, so please do come on down, folks, and say hello, and we would like to see you.
And at this show, this year's recipient of the Mary Ann Sullivan Award is the executive producer of this program, Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. Jeff Montanaro has been working on this program since its inception in 1989, and he is the heart and brains of the news show. Congratulations, Jeff. It's well deserved. To see the live cablecast of the LMC-TV Awards show and the presentation of the award to Jeff, please tune in on Wednesday, May 23rd at 8 p.m. on Channel 71, or come to the Emlyn Theater.
So excited for that to happen.
Yeah, it's really
very
great.
well deserved. And congratulations.
Been doing it for 13 years. It's very, very long.
We wouldn't be here without him.
That's absolutely right.
Well, there is literally a changing of the guard at the Westchester County Airport. For more, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The 20 commercial airports in New York State will now be guarded by the police. In Westchester, 2 daily shifts of 2 soldiers had been stationed near the passenger screening area. Their role was to provide an armed presence. They have now been replaced with uniformed county police officers who will patrol the terminal during all hours of operation. Besides county police, local police, state troopers, sheriff's deputies, airport police will also be used to replace the National Guard. In the future, the Federal Transportation Security Administration will assign its own police force at airport checkpoints. The federal government will reimburse airports for the officers' salaries. For Larchmont Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
There was a holdup at the Cherry Lawn driving range. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
A 15-year-old Mamaroneck boy is accused of being part of a group of 3 masked thieves who held up the Cherry Lawn Golf Range on Weaver Street in New Rochelle. A range employee was pistol whipped and $10,000 was taken. Officials have charged Charles Tapia of Mamaroneck Avenue with first-degree robbery and first-degree criminal use of a firearm, which are both felonies. He is being held at Woodfield Cottage in Valhalla on $50,000 bail. Also charged are 19-year-old Adrian Ortiz of the Bronx and 24-year-old Rafael Toro of New Rochelle. Both of these men are being held at Westchester County Jail in Valhalla without bail. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Parking lot permits are going on sale in the village of Mamaroneck, and here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
On Wednesday, village parking lot permits for residents and merchants will be on sale. Permit applications can be obtained at the Regatta Village Hall or at the police station, 168 Mount Pleasant Avenue. A daytime permit will cost $360, a nighttime permit $120, and a combination of day and night permits will be $400. A copy of the car's registration must be included with the application. For information, call the Clerk Treasurer's Office at, of course, 914-777-7722. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. And whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And Alyssha Miro.
IKEA sells out in New Rochelle.
Otter Creek Bridge is going to be repaired.
Just how many Java joints are there in Larchmont?
I'll have the latest on George Latimer's run for Lieutenant Governor.
And a vintage fire truck finds its way home to Larchmont. Those stories and more coming right up here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News Show for the first week of June 2002. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story. School may be nearly out for summer, but school budgets are in. School budgets for Mamaroneck and Rhinebeck got the okay from voters this year, and that means higher taxes. In Mamaroneck, the $75.6 million budget was up $4.2 million and calls for a tax hike of 6.4%. Rhinebeck's school budget went up nearly $1.5 million to $22.6 million and will cause a 6.35% tax increase in Rye Town and an 11.9% tax increase in Rye City.
Westchester County Legislator George Latimer has ended his bid for Lieutenant Governor of the state of New York. Just hours before the Democratic Convention delegates voted on who would be the candidate of the Democratic Party for Lieutenant Governor, George Latimer made an announcement in which he said that he was dropping out of the race. Democratic Party leaders had pushed him hard to pull out in favor of Dennis Meehl, who was endorsed by the party. Latimer said, as quoted in the Journal News, "At the end of the day, this is not like it was some sort of surprise. I always knew that I had an uphill race." End of quote. Latimer announced that he was going to support the McCall-Meehl ticket. He has not made any announcement yet regarding his political future. However, he will stay on as Westchester County Legislator.
The final chapter of the New Rochelle IKEA saga is nearing its end, and IKEA is officially moving on and out. A year after scrapping plans to build a mega store that faced overwhelming opposition, it is selling the real estate properties it purchased in anticipation of building that store, in many cases to the very same people it purchased from in the first place. The first wave of IKEA-owned land sales are expected to be completed next month, and they involve business owners already in the neighborhood. And the neighborhood hasn't changed much since IKEA made its purchases. The City Park area remains a mix of homes, light industrial buildings, and business and car lots. Although IKEA pulled out of the store project about a year ago, it held the real estate to see if an overall plan could be developed for the neighborhood. But none of the ideas got IKEA the prices it wanted, so it decided to sell the land piece by piece. It is offering the properties at the same price it bought them, first to owners or renters in the neighborhood.
What did the economic boom of the 1990s do for residents in Westchester? According to census data that was just released, it didn't do very much. The 2000 census shows that most Westchester County residents were not better off at the end of the 1990s. Professor Gregory Halls, a professor at Pace University in White Plains, told the Journal News, quote, "Just to stay even in Westchester, you are spending more money. Housing costs have risen so much over the decade that there are a lot of people that could no longer afford to buy the house they are living in now." End of quote. Housing prices have gone up over the last decade. That's good when you want to sell the house you're living in to move to some other part of the country. But it's bad if you're in the market to buy a home in Westchester County.
The Otter Creek Bridge over in Rhinebeck is about to undergo some repairs. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has the story.
Rye Town is planning to replace the Otter Creek Bridge on South Barry Avenue. The bridge was declared structurally defective by the State Department of Transportation this past March. The bridge will remain open during construction. The town is the recipient of $425,000 of federal grant money to help pay for the construction, which could reach up to $750,000. Otter Creek Bridge is one of several bridges in the village of Mamaroneck that lies within Rye Town. Rye Town Supervisor Robert Morabito expects the work to be completed by September. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Everyone who is taking Metro North trains on a regular basis will have noticed that every once in a while you sit down and you just keep going down until you hit the bottom of the seat. Those seats are more sinkholes, and they're obviously made for an uncomfortable ride. According to Metro North spokesman Dan Brucker, about 40,000 out of 102,000 seats need to be repaired. He told the Journal News that beneath the maroon and blue vinyl seat cover that we see, there is a foam cushion which rests on a rubber support membrane. That support membrane is not good anymore in those seats that feel like sinkholes, and the seats will now be replaced during regular maintenance of the cars. It costs about $25,000 to replace 125 seats per car. The railroad expects to have all seats replaced within the next 24 months.
So just how many coffee houses are there in Larchmont? Well, within about a 2-block walk, we count 6. Of course, there's the mega chain Starbucks on Palmer Avenue with its designer coffees, which, if you recall, some locals opposed, fearing it would drive the small coffee houses out of business. It didn't. And just doors away, there's the Harbor House, an old-style coffee house with a 75-cent cup of joe with free refills. Across Palmer, there's Aroma, a gourmet coffee shop with a loyal clientele. If you venture around the corner onto East Avenue, you'll find the East Avenue Cafe, known to some for its delicious homemade low-fat muffins and its selections of old-time penny candy. And for those who want a slightly longer walk, head back up Palmer to Chatsworth, and near the train tracks, you'll find 2 more Java sources: La Renaissance Bakery with its French style, and the newest to the area, the Catery. Each of these places seems to have carved its own niche in the coffee market and appear to be thriving. But you just can't help but wonder how much coffee we're drinking, can you, Sven?
No, but as long as it's vanilla hazelnut coffee, I'm all for it. Yeah, definitely. After more than 50 years, an old friend comes home to Larchmont. Here with the details is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
Something old or a new treasure? Back in 1947, the Larchmont Fire Department decided that their old hand-cranked truck was obsolete and went out with the old and in with a modern truck of its day. Almost 55 years later, the 1947 fire truck has surfaced again. Kept in a garage in Seattle, an antique car collector, Richard Cooper, who is a flight test engineer at Boeing, hoped to renovate the fire engine along with a collection of cars that later was passed down to his son, Matt Cooper. After 20 years, Matt Cooper decided, and I quote, "It would be kind of neat if this went back to its original owner." And so, our 1947 antique is back and busy. The first call for its use was the Larchmont Mamaroneck Memorial Day Parade. But if you missed that, you can see it again this July, driving down Mamaroneck Avenue for the annual Firefighters Parade. I guess everything old is new again, and we're glad to have a piece of our local history back. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV Channel 71.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are on the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs, across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next time.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Jeff Montanaro.
And I'm Maura Carlin, and tonight we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at our news show, and in particular, let you get to know some of the people who work on the show, many of whom you've seen on camera before, but many of whom you haven't, like Jeff Montanaro, our executive producer, who's making one of his first appearances on TV.
Yeah, so stay tuned. It'll be a good show. Everybody that's been on the show with us tonight, and we're gonna have Sven and Alyssha and Glenna a little bit later. But first, we're gonna speak with Amy Schachtel and Christina Bolger. Let's start with Amy.
Hi,
Amy,
Jeff.
how are you?
I'm just fine. How are you tonight?
Good.
Yes, Jeff?
Tell us a little bit about why you like doing the news.
Oh, there's a lot of reasons I like to do the news. Let's see, it's Sven, Alyssha, Christina, Maura, Missy,
Jeff.
Jeff, thank you very much. You know, I like all of you. This is a great place for me to be. It's just one of those things that worked out well. I've been in front of the camera most of my adult life, and here I found a place where I can do just that. And I just have a good time doing it, and as a result of my time spent doing the news...
You do another show.
Yes, I do.
Called Act Naturally.
That's correct.
Right, and you do that with youngsters. You teach young children how to perform in front of a camera. You tell us a little bit about that.
I work with kids ages 4 to 14, and we work on monologues and dialogues, script study. But basically, the course is all about getting to know yourself, self-awareness and self-esteem for public speaking, that some may call acting, but I just call a really successful way of communicating.
Right, acting naturally.
You got it, you know. But this is all a lot of fun for me because it makes me feel good. I have a good time doing it. Matter of fact, this was one of the best moments of this award that's right
the
here.
award that we got in '99, did we get that?
And that was the year that I began doing the news.
Oh.
So the very first award show I went to, here I am on stage getting an award with the whole group of people that I've now become really good friends with.
Oh,
so
that's good.
It was a great kickoff to everything we're doing now. And I love doing these shows where you all just get to talk.
Sit around the table. Would you have a favorite news story that you like reporting on? Is there one in that in your mind that you can think of right now?
Well, I'm looking. One of the recent stories I just spoke about was they found an old fire truck in Seattle that they
right.
brought
They're
back.
refurbishing in Larchmont, right?
And it's going to be in the July 4th parade.
Parade, yeah, and here in the village of Mamaroneck, the
Right.
firemen's parade.
And it was in the Memorial Day parade.
That's correct. I just thought that was kind of interesting how, you know, someone realized what it was and brought it back home.
Yeah, brought it back home and restored it.
Yes, you know, I liked that story a lot. I've loved the interviews I've done because in the interviews I've met local politicians. I've met a lot of the local artists, people who make this community what it is. Very colorful, very energetic, very much alive.
Oh,
I'm so happy to be here.
That's good. Also with us tonight is Christina Bolger. Christina, you haven't been with us for a while. When did you first start with us?
I started back in '93. I started a friend, Paul Soroka, who you went to high school with.
Paul actually told me about this. He was the one that turned me on to the news show. That got me excited about it.
He was involved with Sound Shore Health.
Sound Health Show, right.
Right. And then he introduced me to you, and also my husband, who originally started as my boyfriend, then my fiance, and now he's my husband.
Yes, we've had many marriages on LMC News. I think Alyssha also became, it used to be Alyssha Shearing, I think her last name was, and then she changed, now it's Alyssha Miro.
Married, right, she's Alyssha Miro now. So that's when I started out, and I was, you know, not so consistent, but then I came back the following year in '94, and I was here, you know, all the time, and would go out with a cameraman and do, you know, on the scene kind of stuff.
Right, and last year you did that thing on the golf where we actually went to Bonnie
right,
Briar Country Club.
Right, where I
and we showed you
my lessons.
Yes, you were doing lessons live on TV. That was a lot of fun playing at Bonnie Briar, wasn't it?
It was great. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, actually, I have, and I learned a lot from Sharon. She's, you know, a pro, and that was a benefit for me.
Yes, we all enjoy golf.
And Amy and I used to do Question of the Week. She would
I loved that. Was
come
so
out.
much
Wasn't
fun.
that fun?
Yes.
You'd have the camera and we'd go out and talk to people on the street in the community, and we did some in Mamaroneck, some in Larchmont, and that was a lot of fun. In fact, Joe Jabanowski was one of the first people that.
Right, Joe.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him, and also Roger Norm. I started anchoring. I don't recall what year that was, but yeah.
Many moons ago.
Yeah, but this year, as you said, I haven't been around because unfortunately I was in a severe car accident, and through the great grace of God and many prayers, I'm here today to sit and tell you about it. But I've been recuperating. I had a broken back and fractured in 2 places. I had 11 fractured ribs, a fractured sternum. I had a fracture behind my kneecap, a fracture my foot. So I had a brace, a metal brace here, a brace in the back, and then I had a leg brace, and I had a foot.
When did
this happen? December 30th.
December 30th. And you're just and you're still.
And I'm still going to physical therapy, and I walk with a quad cane. I've graduated from a stretcher to a walker, from a walker to a quad cane, and then my goal is to walk without anything.
And you're back.
So,
you're back here.
We're back here.
We're happy to have you back.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you back.
It's great to be back.
We've had marriages on our show, and I think we're expecting our first baby.
Oh, yeah.
We're expecting our first baby in September.
Not my first.
Not her first.
And it's not our first.
But
yes, we are.
You're expecting in September, right?
September, my 3rd boy. That's right.
Oh, another boy to
Another boy.
another boy to listen. Well, we need somebody to work camera. We're always looking for volunteers, and it's always because anybody out there needs to help. So we're gonna break down for the summer. This is gonna be our last show for the summer, and then we'll start up again in the fall. So if you're out there and you're looking to do something interesting, this is something that you might want to give a
We'd love to have you. There's always something for you to do.
Always
we
looking
really
for
mean it.
volunteers. Always.
Do you have a favorite story? Is there something else that I know you did the man in the street or woman in the street?
I did the woman in the street. My husband, Michael Hochhauser, I was fortunate for him also to be my cameraman. And while the whole thing was going on with Clinton, that was something that we did that was interesting. The local response to what was happening politically with that. And I enjoy doing work with the kids, the parades, the Halloween parade,
in Larchmont,
the Ragamuffin parade.
Ragamuffin
Yeah,
parade.
I got all dressed up and actually did that, and then Santa Claus. And,
Santa Claus in July that they have in the Village of Mamaroneck.
Yeah, and then like Amy said, I met artists, I met authors, I met so many interesting people, and doing the voting, the elections, doing that live, that was really interesting. Being right there, I had your finger on the pulse in the community, and that was really exciting.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned Clinton. I have a story. We had interviewed Hillary. When he first ran, was one of our first big interviews with somebody famous. So it was kind of fun.
Right.
And when Susie Oppenheimer called me, and she says, "Well, you can come down and you're allowed to ask one question to her." And so what I did was I got so nervous I brought an engineer with me, and I brought a reporter with me, and we had all our stuff, and we set everything up, and we're ready to ask our question. We ask our question, we get it all on tape, we bring it back to the studio, and there's no sound. There wasn't any sound. Everybody started to cry, "Oh my God!" And so we never. That was one of the first times we got to interview somebody famous. And
those things happen.
And those things happen a lot.
They happen to us.
You have any funny stories?
Well, Amy and I had a couple of times had gone out on the street,
Well,
and
we came back to see. Well, 2 times I can recall.
Yeah.
I think we were down at Harbor Island with the harbor master.
Right, and the kids, right.
They had a bunch of high school kids, and it was a nature ecosystems in the Mamaroneck, in the Long Island
was that
Sound.
John Zapala?
Right. Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Okay. Right.
That's who it was. And while we're doing this, he has, animal life or ocean water life, in tanks, and we're filming and shooting everything, and Christina's talking, and I think we switched back and forth a few times, and we didn't seem to get exactly what we thought we shot. Well, it wasn't exactly what we wanted to put together, but no, there was another time too where we were shooting, and it was one of the questions of the week.
And we had some really good answers, you know, and we had been out, and it's not always easy to get people to talk to you on the street. Some people just, you know, wave and say, you know, I'm not interested, or they don't have anything to say, or they say something that's, you know, a little embarrassing, and we edit them out. But we
not all of them, not all of them, not all of them.
But we got some really great stuff, we felt, and we came back and we had no sound.
Yeah.
Right.
And that happens. And that happens
And it's
a
so
lot.
frustrating.
That happens a lot. I had a funny story where somebody had stolen a tarantula and a boa constrictor, and then they found the animals at a pet store in Hartsdale. So I took Julie Auclair, she was an anchor then, and we went to Hartsdale to film these creatures, and she actually put the snake over her shoulder, and she put the tarantula on her lapel, and as she's talking and doing her story, the spider's walking from one side of her chest to the other side of her chest. It was really it was very exciting to see, because she plowed right through it, and meanwhile I was shaking in the camera. I was watching her do it.
But Jeff, we have to interview more. Well, our newest person on the show.
Oh, you've been with us, what, a year now? Has it been a year?
I started at the end of 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you have a favorite story? Does one stick out?
Well, I happen to have loved the story that I did about the kids at the Murray Avenue School, and it was because it was the first time I ever really went out in the field, and I brought cameras, and it was a lot of fun to put it together. But I really loved, you know, meeting the politicians and people in the community who get things done. And it's amazing the community that we have here, the people and the dedication. And
the politicians are very, very helpful to come on the show.
They're incredibly accessible, and people give you answers, and I really have enjoyed that. It's been a lot of fun.
What was the story at Murray? What was it about?
It was a way of beating stress relating to those 4th grade tests, where they spend a lot of the school year on it. And this one teacher was having the kids learn to play the harmonica.
Oh yes, okay.
Remember that?
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun.
They played the harmonica. We had him in here. That was fun. Okay.
I have another favorite moment.
What's your favorite? Oh, tell us.
Please. My favorite moment, my most favorite moment was when I received my award for Volunteer of the Year.
That's right, you were Volunteer of the Year.
Right, the Frioli Award.
Not here right now, but I bet people don't
realize.
It's
standing.
It's exactly like this one here.
Mike Witch has been good enough to direct our show tonight, so we stole one of his trophies, the many that he has.
But I'm guessing most people don't realize that this show really has won quite a number of awards.
Yes, we've won lucky.
Why don't you take everyone through it, Jeff?
Well,
since you know what they
in
are.
1989 we won for Best Series.
Is that this one?
That's that one. That was the
Blue
first
ribbon.
one that we won, and then the second one I believe was this one that we won in 93.
That's 93 for you.
For 93, yes, for Access Achievement, and then we won the plaque for the entire show in 99, right?
Right, that was
Best New Show in
right?
99.
We all were up there.
And then Christina, when did you win Volunteer of the Year?
I won mine in 2000.
Yeah.
2000. And Glenna Gray, who you'll see a little bit later on in our show, she also won Volunteer of the Year. And before that, Roger Norham, who has been anchor on our show for many years, he also won Volunteer of the Year.
And a couple of weeks ago, Jeff, you yourself won the Marianne Sullivan Award
I did.
for Communications. We're very proud of you.
Yes.
Marianne Sullivan was the first president of LMC-TV, and she was part of getting this access center up and running, along with Mike Witch and a bunch of other people. Okay, so that's any other stories that you want to talk about right off the top of your head?
I just can't wait for more stories, and I just want to know some of the stuff that's going to be on this network in the summer. I understand that they're putting out bulletins right now looking for young people who want to go out and record, and any of us that are available, I know Christina and I hope you are too. Good. Will be in front of the camera while there are new people learning how to put this type of show together.
Right. And
so if you're out there and you see this and you're interested, call over to Town Center to Eric Lewis and show him what it is.
698-6808?
No, the number over there is 381-2002.
Right.
698-6808 is the number for the Palmer Studio.
And you can
ask for Eric Lewis.
If you dial 698-6808, you will.
Yeah,
it will say if you need to speak to Eric Lewis, press whatever number.
Okay, but
So.
but call him, and if in fact you're interested in shooting video, writing stories, if there's an event that you are aware of that's going to be happening that you want to cover, and you're looking for a reporter, we have many reporters here.
We're here.
You can pick and choose, and we would love to help you out and be on camera for you.
Also, Chris, our cameraman. Chris, what's your last name again? Kirkland. Chris Kirkland is going to do a seminar over the summer and teach kids how to actually produce their own news show. So if you're young and you want to learn how to do a news show sort of like what we do here, Chris is the man to see at LMC. He's going to be doing that this summer.
Chris, is there an age of the kids you're looking to work with?
13 to 18.
13 to 18.
13 to 18 years old. Okay, very good. All right, let's get Glenn up here.
Okay.
And Sven and Alyssha.
And Alyssha.
Okay.
The rest of the crew.
Hello and welcome back. Joining me now is Alyssha Miro and Glenna Gray. And to my right, we have Mr. Sven Oehme. And tell us, Alyssha, tell us why you enjoy doing the news so much.
Well, I remember, I think it's about 8 years now.
8
I've been
years
with the news program, yeah.
Oh my goodness,
And you were right,
doing that.
earlier when you were talking to some of the other volunteers, you said, my maiden name was Shearing. You got that right.
I got it
I
right,
can't believe it. Because it was only Shearing for about a year.
Was
and
it
then
only a year?
Yeah, then I married Paul, and I became Alyssha Miro. And I started out doing teleprompter and researching stories and calling people up on the phone, and then I did some reporting.
Right.
And then about a year later, I think it was Julie Auclair. Moved to Germany, and
no, that was Joanne Bordeaux.
Okay,
Joanne Bordeaux. Yeah.
And then I started to anchor, and it's been a wonderful ride.
Right. You were one of the first people to come in and say, I saw your advertisement at the end of the show. At the end of every show, we have, if you'd like to join us, stop by on a Thursday night. And you were one of the first persons to come by and actually do that.
Behind the scenes or in front of the camera, we have something for you to do.
And we
Stop
did.
by our studios. And I sure did. On a Thursday night, I came by, and I was really nervous at first, but everyone was so friendly. And, just gradually I learned how to use all the different equipment. And, I got comfortable in front of the camera and interviewing people, which I was very scared about because, they seem so larger than life at first.
Sure.
The mayors, the supervisors, and then just a lot of people, members of the Historical Society, just sharing their stories. And I just got really connected with the Larchmont Mamaroneck community. And, I just feel really informed. There's been great stories, I'm sure. Everybody's really felt that way, really exciting. When you tell people you do community news, they're like, oh, what do you say? Oh, they're serving.
There's plenty to talk about in the 3 villages. There's the 3 villages in town.
Like, oh, they serving chicken for lunch at the high school? No. I mean,
we have real issues here. We have real issues in Larchmont
Mamaroneck. We had the
Mamaroneck.
Paul Cox murder trial, which then, they aired on, I think, Court TV and other programs. We had the battle over
the battle
IKEA.
with IKEA, right?
There's just been some real big headliners, but the fun stuff is, like the other women mentioned, at the parades, meeting the kids, other people who volunteer in the community, people who are fighting to, improve playgrounds and maintain buildings, and just getting to know the personalities.
There's a lot
of
of
people
good
that make
things
up our
being
community.
done. Yeah, there's
Absolutely.
a lot of good things going on, and what we try to do is we try to highlight some of those stories. News doesn't have to be all bad.
Right.
So we have there's a lot of good stories in Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and we try to balance that out. Another former volunteer of the year over here. Glenna's been with us. How long have you been with us?
Well, I guess it must be 10.
10 years.
Because I'm retired 11. Maybe it's 11 years. I'll be retired 12 years.
Oh.
I stayed at home for a year, and I was going.
So you're a newcomer.
Yes, I was going absolutely nuts, and I saw the ad in the newspaper.
Oh,
and I
we
said,
were in the newspaper. Okay.
I've never seen that. I've never done that. So I came up one Thursday, a group of us, and I was the only one that stayed. Everyone else that came never came back.
Never came back.
Or they
well,
came
that
back
happens.
1 week or so.
Over the course of the 13 years, I think we've had over 120 people been with us. Sven, you've been with us since the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And you too. So.
And me too. We're the oldest.
In 89.
89, 1989,
How many shows
right?
do you think you've done in all that time?
We've done. Oh, geez, I lost count at 500 and something. I think we're well over 600 shows.
Oh, it must be.
Over
yes.
13 years.
Yes.
Over 13 years.
Don't we get a
we've
party
done.
for that?
We're having a party now. This is our party. Everybody's joining in on our party.
Yeah,
Glenna, you also do another show, Community Connections.
Yes,
Tell us how
after
that
I was
got started.
on this show for a while, the person, I believe it was a woman, that was doing Community Connections, and she resigned or retired, whichever. And they asked me. I believe you submitted my name as a possibility.
Right. Community Connections is a show that was designed, I think, to expand on what we do here at the news. On the news show, we tend to give each story 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the most, because we do 15 to 20 stories during a show. With you, you have the luxury of breaking one story down over a period of a half hour.
Yes, but I've changed it to some extent because the large Mamaroneck community has become a microcosm of New York City. And it has become even very diverse in both areas now. And to leave it just as it was when I first found it, I thought was much too narrow.
Yes.
Because the people in this community have wide ranges of experience. I mean, there are lots of people in this community that are absolutely fantastic people.
Well, you grew and changed with the community, and that's,
yes.
and that's part of what it is. You know.
Yes, and it has been fun. It's the first time I get to talk, and everyone said, "Stop! You didn't stop talking, Glenna." But here I get a chance to talk.
Yeah, you're involved in a lot of community efforts. You also are with the League of Women Voters,
yes.
and you're the civil
Human Rights Commission.
Human Rights
well,
Commission.
volunteering is a part of my training. My parents volunteered in their community, and all of us meaning my sister, my brother, and myself, we were all taught to volunteer. I mean, I don't understand living and not volunteering. I don't understand.
Well, we're glad you do.
Yes.
We're glad you do.
And Sven, the quiet one.
Sven's the quiet one. Tell us.
I don't necessarily think that I'm the quiet one, but I didn't.
You don't get a chance to
I didn't
talk.
want to interrupt you.
So tell us a little bit. Tell us about what you do here on the news show. We're not professionals. We all have other jobs that we go to. I've been in carpets for 30 years. I'm now teaching with Mike Witch here at the Mamaroneck High School. Alyssha is a teacher. Glenna is a retired teacher. We have retired teachers. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, well, I have my company in Manhattan, and we assist companies from Europe that are interested in exporting to the U.S. or that want to set up a subsidiary in the U.S. So we help them through the process. We do the same for American companies that want to conquer European markets. And we explain to them what Europe is today, what the European integration process means for doing business.
That has to do with the unification of Europe? You've brought in the euro and the new currency that's being passed around.
But it's a little dangerous or misleading to use the word unification.
Oh, okay.
Because in that context, because it's integration to a certain degree, but at the same time you obviously have the different cultures. Some go back 1,000 and more years, and nobody wants to destroy those cultures because that is, I guess, part of what Europe is.
Sure.
The history, the richness of having these many cultures, and obviously the many elements of the American culture go back to European roots.
Sure.
Obviously, so there's. And that's always important to explain to Americans that on the one hand you do have integration, you do have no borders between the countries anymore, you have free movement of people, free movement of goods, free movement of capital, free movement of services, you do have a single currency.
Sure. It makes it easy
and an
for
integrated economy.
Sure.
But you still have very
multiple
different
languages.
cultures, and the languages obviously that are an expression of the different cultures.
Yeah, it makes it easier for people outside of Europe. You know, people coming from America to Europe for the first time. It's probably easier for them to get around. You know, with the currency and the new ways that's being.
So
done.
they're not going to establish a common school system. Everyone will maintain their own school system.
Yeah, but I mean. That's not unusual. Mamaroneck has its own school system.
Well, no, in the United States, it's states' rights. Each of the 50 states has their own.
But it still is it's more individualized. I mean, there is not a federal school system in that sense, and so you will not have a federal school system. For
but in France, there's one school system.
Right, but that's the
and
French.
And then in Germany, there's one school system.
No, it's not.
You have multiple.
Because France is a more centralized state, while Germany is a federal state.
I think what's interesting, though, is that we all come with our different backgrounds, and many times we've had people, you know, that have come, stayed for a while, and left, but they've brought their many talents with them and their backgrounds. We had a fashion reporter, we had someone doing sports, we had a weatherman for a while.
Movie reviewer, we had a movie reviewer, Pat McAlizzi.
We've done, someone's done school news, someone did I say fashion? And financial. We had financial tip of the week.
Financial facts we had for a while.
And we even had some students.
We
had one fabulous sports announcer.
And I think we should, you know, put out that beck and call again for people that are interested. They should come on out if they have something that, you know, piques their interest in particular that they like to report about, that they want to investigate, you know, to come on, and we can always try to incorporate a segment into the news program, you know, to a little bit each week.
It offers a wonderful experience for the children in the Mamaroneck school system. I always have to say that.
We've had a lot.
It's a fabulous school system, and what the children can get if they would only come out, it's just wonderful.
And then a lot of them have even gone on to continue into broadcasting, even some of the volunteers here.
Sure. We've had a few. Joanne Bordeaux, who you just mentioned, she's doing the news for the troops in Germany. She's stationed in Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, she's still there.
Yes. Julia Claire, who was with us for a while, she's working for a network in Boston. I think it's NBC or CBS or one of the two. And then our weatherman, Ed Muir. Ed Muir is working with my cousin down in Tallahassee. She called me one day, and she calls me on the phone, and she goes, "We have a guy here that says you've taught him how to do the news." And I said, "Who is this? You know, and this is your cousin." "Oh, I didn't know who it is. You never introduced yourself to me." And Ed's down there and having a grand time.
My sister came once or twice, and she worked here, and she liked it so much. She took the course, and she lives in Brooklyn, in the Brooklyn Public Access.
Oh, okay, good for her.
So she has also expanded. Many people have been expanded by you, Jeff.
Even if it's not your career objective, it certainly is the way to really find out a lot more about your community and get in touch with the things that are going on around you. So it's really a wonderful experience.
People are interested in local news because that's what's happening in their backyard.
Right.
But at the same time, you need people to provide that information.
Right.
And
volunteers, here we are.
We need
volunteers. We're always looking for more volunteers. That's what this show is about. This show is to garner more volunteers for our show.
Right.
Volunteerism. And it's been a great volunteer doing this for
13 years. It'll be 14 years August 1st. August 1st, 1989 was our first show. And this is the first time I've actually sat on a set under these hot lights. I'm starting to melt here under these lights.
This is what we call the round table, and I think it's really important for over the summer for people to really see it, see what we're all about.
And when foreigners come to America, it's very interesting because we have many foreigners now coming into our community to see that we have the politicians coming on and they're telling you what's going on, or you can watch the board as they're live, or you can see it again if you wish. And so I think it's a very good thing for citizens to see and for new citizens to be aware that they can become a part of America.
I think our community, the Larchmont Mamaroneck community, has a very open system, and I think that's something we can be proud of. And hopefully, the news show had brought some of that, you know, the politicians into the open, and I think that's a good thing. I think a lot of people now pay more attention to how things are done on the local level, which is a good thing. People should get more involved in what goes on.
Right. As local news gets,
right.
Even more so.
Cablevision had it wrong. I said it on the award show when I had the award. I said it wrong. And LMC News is as local as local. I think I said LMC-TV is as local, which is the same thing.
Channel 71, 72, 73.
Right.
But I think
and we've gone through changes. Our numbers.
We're way up there for you channel surfers.
Well, actually, our first.
First it was 35, 36.
Right. Yeah, we had first. There was when we first started in '89. It was in 35 and 36.
We never were 14, 15.
Yeah, then we became 14,
we
15, and 16. In '89, in '99, they switched over.
The other thing that's interesting when you think about it, and I guess at the very beginning of our show, you can still see it, that at the very beginning we were using typewriters.
Yes. Yes, we are using typewriters. Now we have computers. Thank you. And I see by Herman back there, we're getting ready to wrap up. If you'd like to join us on this show. We're here on Thursday nights. Like I said, this show is going to run for the summer. We're gonna take a little hiatus for the summer, but starting in September, you can call 698-6808, and somebody will put you in touch with someone who can put you on this show or help you get started at LMC-TV. We're located in the Palmer Building, just upstairs from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. And we're very easy to find. The number for LMC-TV is 381-2002. That's the main headquarters section of it. And we want to thank you for watching. Anything else? Anybody else want to say? You can write to us too.
Yeah, if you're
Carol,
interested, volunteer this summer. Get involved in the community. Find out more.
Stay positive.
stay positive. Thank you.
That's
Thank
important.
you.
Thank you.